Now that we are inside the Rubric Manager, we can click on the menu button in the top left corner to view available rubrics and rubric options. Your first option is to create a brand new rubric. If you click on Create a New Rubric, it will give you a completely blank rubric that you can then copy and paste an existing rubric of yours into the Rubric Manager. You can edit the criterion, you can edit the scales and the point values. If you need to add an extra column, you can do so by clicking on this plus sign. And if you would like to add another row, you can do that by clicking on this plus sign. This is the simplest way to create a rubric inside the Rubric Manager. If we click on the menu button here again, we also have the ability to create a new grading form. If we click on creating a new grading form, you can see it is kind of a toned down version of a rubric. You can add your criterion, you can enter a description, and then when you open up Feedback Studio, you can simply add grades for each of these areas, and then you can total that grade up for their overall score. And that's how you create a grading form. If you've decided to visit our rubric library, you can download rubrics into the Rubric Manager as well. You would do so by visiting turnitin.com, scroll down to the bottom, click on Teaching Tools, and then you have two options available to you, our Rubric Library and available Lesson Plan Library. If we click on the Rubric Library, it will open up a page of available rubrics available to you to download. You can see we have a number of them, and we have multiple pages as well. All you need to do to download one of these rubrics is to go ahead and click on the rubric name, scroll down to where it says Download Turnitin Rubric, click on this and save it to your hard drive. One thing you'll notice here is that this rubric is in the .rbc format. So currently the Rubric Manager will allow you to upload rubrics as long as they are in the .rbc format, or if you've used our given template for an Excel format. And we will see that Excel template here in a second. But so keep that in mind. If you're looking to upload a Word document or an Excel rubric that you've created on your own, it won't accept those. If it's Excel, it needs to be in our template. And if it's in a Word doc or something similar to that, you would probably want to cut and paste that and click on Create a New Rubric like we saw before. That would be the simplest way. But let's assume that you have downloaded this .rbc rubric to your hard drive. So once we've downloaded all the rubrics that we've liked, we can go back into our Rubric Manager, and we can come up to this button here in the right-hand corner, which is View Import Export Options. If we click on that, we have the ability to import, like I mentioned before, and we also have the ability to export. So if you've created your own rubrics and you'd like to share them with others, you can export your rubrics that you've created, and they will export in the .rbc format. You could then email them to colleagues, and they could upload them and import them into their Rubric Manager. But for now, we're going to cover how you would import. So if I click on the Import button, you can see it lets me know that I can import from Excel files, but it needs to be in our example template. Now this example template looks very similar to the template we saw when you click on Create a New Rubric, although it's in the Excel format. It needs to be in this format so that the system can accept it and read it. If you click on this button, it will open up an Excel template that you can then use as your own and copy and paste or build inside that template. Then you are free to upload that into and import that into your Rubric Manager. You'll also notice down here at the bottom, it lets you know that Turnitin rubric files must be in the .rbc file format and must have been exported from Turnitin originally. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Once you have those rubrics and you would like to upload them, you just need to click on Select Files, find that rubric file in your hard drive, and simply add it to your Rubric Manager. Once you have added rubrics to your Rubric Manager, when you click on the menu button up here in the left corner, you'll see all the available rubrics available to you. You may see some of these already because they've been added by default. But if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see a whole bunch of rubrics that you've added. In this case, I added the actual writing rubric, leadership reflection, macroeconomics, persuasive paper. As you begin to add them to your rubric manager and import them, they will appear down here at the bottom. If you have found a rubric that you really like from Turnitin.com, but you would like to make some changes to it, first you'll want to download that rubric. Then you'll want to duplicate that rubric. Then you can keep the original, and then you can change the duplicate. You can rename rubrics if you need to, and you can delete rubrics if you need to. Okay? So that is how simple it is to use the rubric manager inside Turnitin. And once you have created rubrics and added rubrics, when you're inside your course, you can add those rubrics to your assignment. And when you open up Feedback Studio, you will be able to see those rubrics inside Feedback Studio and grade from those rubrics inside Feedback Studio. Thank you very much for watching this video.